So first thing we'll call to order, and Melanie, if you could take a roll, please.
Watson,
Here.
Priest, McCann,
Here.
Maxwell,
Here.
Lamb, Caldwell,
Yep.
Lawson,
Here.
McKnight, Prophet.
Here.
All right, and next up, we want to welcome the new member to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, Kyle McCann. Welcome.
Nice to have you.
And then we have a artist recognition with the Lake Fayetteville mural, Amy Eichler. And we have something for you, Amy. And
Come on
and
up.
of appreciation.
In front of the cameras. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Amy, hold on. You have done a wonderful job out there, and I think on behalf of Parks and Recreation, our Parks Board, and our department, and the city of Fayetteville, we want to very much acknowledge you for your great talent and in putting that talent on a great wall out there. We've had so many compliments on your mural at Lake Fayetteville.
It was so much fun.
Well,
I enjoyed it.
We've got a lot of great publicity out of it, and people are certainly enjoying it. So thank you for adding art in our park. We appreciate you so much.
Thank
So if
you.
anybody hasn't seen it, it's just on the bait shop on the
It's
back
beautiful.
right there, yeah.
Yeah.
Right along the trail.
I bet you had a lot of people comment when you were doing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what was fun about it, you know, it's just kind of.
The press was out there, so that photo we got, that was first
Photo.
photo in the Northwest Arkansas Times after the first day, maybe the second
I think
day.
this, yeah, first or second day I was out there.
Yeah. But yeah, every time anybody would run by or be on their bike, they'd always stop and maybe
Yeah.
give a little feedback and.
Yeah. Always good.
Yeah.
Nobody ever told me looked awful yet.
They
Yeah.
didn't want their portrait on it.
Yes. So it's good, yeah.
It was a huge
Yeah,
project.
that's
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
another one.
Well, yes.
But yeah, beautiful, and thanks very much for all your work. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
We're gonna find more walls.
Thank you.
I know.
And Alan, we'd also like to thank you for kind of organizing and getting that
Sure, no, it was
going and volunteers
extremely
working.
easy. And the idea, it was somebody, me and Amy had known each other, and it was a random citizen just called and had the idea, and she started naming artists that she knew in the area, and she mentioned Amy's name. I was like, all right, that's done and done. Call Amy, and we were in works within days, so it was a simple process, so it was my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you guys. And I mean, it's really helped me, you know, I've gotten a lot more, you know, projects and ideas, and just kind of kickstarted me in the art world too, so thank you.
Very good. Nice to hear.
We love it when everyone wins.
Yeah.
We're going to leave this up for sentimental value for the rest.
All right, and next up, we've got approval of the December 1st meeting minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look over those? Is there any changes anyone wants to make? No? Take a roll, please.
Someone need a motion?
A vote?
A motion.
Motion to accept?
Second.
Prophet,
Keeping us on.
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes.
Caldwell,
Yes.
Maxwell,
Yes.
McCann.
Should I abstain?
Oh, well, you
You
can
can
abstain.
Okay, I'll
Since you weren't
abstain.
here.
Priest, excuse me, Watson,
Yes. All right, next up is the election of officers, and we're going to table that since we don't have everybody here yet. So we'll skip that part on the chairperson and the vice chair, and then we'll move on down to appointment of active transportation members. Who wants to be that?
Is that quarterly? Is that right?
It's quarterly, and in fact, they were going to, the first meeting will be in February. It's on Wednesday nights, and it's usually the first or second Wednesday of the month. It starts at 5:30, City Hall, room 111. I also serve on that board. So we need a volunteer, or if we don't have a volunteer this time, we could.
You said quarterly?
Yeah, it's quarterly. Sometimes they talked about maybe doing it every other month, but it's supposed, it's set up to be quarterly.
Who's doing it now?
John Paul, who went off the board.
Ask him how much fun it was.
I think he enjoyed it. Yeah.
Are they mainly trails and?
Trails.
Trails and sidewalks.
Okay, I'd be interested in doing that.
You'd be good, yeah.
If you think I'd be a worthy representation of a road.
I absolutely. I wouldn't mind doing it, except I got a 15-year-old, and I think I'd spend enough time away from home.
I understand.
If I can stay away from it, I will.
So, motion to nominate Wade.
Second that.
Second. Let's go ahead and take a,
What's it pay?
Same as this job.
Okay.
you get to double your pay.
Double my pay.
That's right.
Yeah. Double.
Watson,
Yes.
McCann,
Yes.
Maxwell,
Yes.
Caldwell.
Yes. Can I vote for myself?
Yes, you can.
Sure.
Lawson,
Yes.
Should have asked if anybody else wanted to do that. I mean, that's,
Well, they
Profit.
did that.
yes. Yeah.
Spoke up.
All right, you're it.
Gee, thanks. Wednesday, you said? Well,
That'd be
they'll-
February.
Okay.
Next up is the Botanical Gardens board member, and Richie Lamb, is he on that now? He would like to continue to be on that?
He would like to, and he's been very active in it.
Okay. Is there any motions as far as that, or any objections anybody else would like to?
I'd motion that we continue to have Richie maintain his current role as BGSO.
I'll second that.
Wait, second that.
Let's go ahead and take a vote.
Profit,
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes.
McCann,
Yes.
Maxwell,
Yes.
Caldwell.
Yes.
All right, moving right along. Next up is a presentation from the Fayetteville Disc Association. Chuck Wright is going to be giving it for us. Thanks for coming up, Chuck.
Do you have something to put up there?
Oh, no, I didn't have it. They've got handouts. I think you all got a copy of the report.
I read through it on the...
I read through it.
Did you need to?
I got it here.
Okay, sorry.
My name's Charles, or Chuck Wright, on behalf of the Fayetteville Disc Association. Good evening.
Hey there.
We used the fields from Fayetteville for several of our 6 leagues for 2014. We had a league in the winter, in the spring, summer, and fall. We had a league for the youth, and we had what we call our ADA competitive league that was also in the summer. And we had 150 members across all of those leagues. The way that works is we charge $25, and that's part of our agreement with the city, and that goes directly to the city to pay for our use of the fields. So each of those 150 members paid that. It's about $37.50 in revenue for the city, and then that would give them access to various leagues, which cost between $15 and $25 each, on top of that one-time per year membership fee. We play at Gary Hampton, at Lewis Fields. We have weekly practice or pickup games at White River, baseball. It's like Southeast Fayetteville. I can't make it down there very often. We're trying to figure out a new date of the week for that, but that happens usually every Wednesday. And you can see, if you've been looking through the handout, there's kind of a summary of the leagues. The community itself is growing. We host a large tournament every fall. It's called the Harvest Moon Tournament. It's a big costume-themed tournament. Teams come from all over the country, and they'll all pick kind of a theme to dress up as the Ninja Turtles or Pokemon or all sorts of things that you would. The NFL refs from a couple of years ago, back when there was all that controversy, there were a bunch of guys in referee outfits blowing whistles and throwing flags. So that was huge. It was a good time, and we use a lot of the proceeds from that to help out the college teams. We work hand in hand with the men's and women's teams at the University of Arkansas. Those are club sports there, and they run in both fall and spring semesters. Of course, their competitive season is in the spring semester, and that's when they paid dues to our governing body, the USA Ultimate, and which is now a member of the U.S. Olympic Committee. So that's kind of cool. They were recognized in 2014. So the sport itself, and the national and the worldwide level, is growing and in esteem. We had one of your members here, Mr. Watson, brought the Ozark Hillbillies. It's a Grandmasters team to the national championship in 2014. We had a few local players make it in the club division of men's play. We have a couple mixed teams from the area, and another men's team that participate in kind of the national competition level. So that is pretty good. In case you guys didn't see this part of the presentation, we have scholarships for students at the University of Arkansas that are players in the club sport, and there's a process it's been a little bit loosely held together, but we're trying to bring it into a more formalized process in alignment with the highest award that a college ultimate player can win. It's called the Callahan Award, named after an early great player. It'd be kind of like the Heisman, it's named after a player, and that awards people for their involvement in the community, their leadership, as well as their talent and their sportsmanship on the field. So we're looking for applicants who meet that criteria, and it says here that we mostly pay for things that are related to their participation in the sport. We're actually going to increase that to cover their book costs at the university. We just had a meeting a couple days ago and decided to increase the value to the award winners. We work with local schools, with Boys and Girls Club to do different programs. We're trying to get a mini camp, and obviously not overnight, but something like that during the summer where kids can come and learn how to play the sport, just sweat a little bit, burn off some energy during the summertime, but also just learn to love the sport. I got a 5-year-old son, and he's learning to play. I know Chuck's brought his kids out to play, and everybody treats it as it's a family experience, and it's great to see kids in the community kind of growing up. If they're just ankle biters throwing the frisbee every which way on the sidelines to, hey, they're on the field catching a score when they're 8 years old. It's a really great experience.
It may be neat, and you may do it already, to tie that in with our summer camp programs that we have. Maybe having
that is part
an
of it.
ultimate camp, or is that one of the elements of it? I take it.
Actually, disc golf is.
Oh, disc
out there,
golf
so they
is.
go to utilize a disc golf course, but yeah, I think that's an easy transition. Teaching them some basics and fundamentals of throwing a disc. I think ultimately could easily be incorporated to it.
Would that be something the FDA would be willing to help out with as far as like a camp program? It's a week long, isn't it, typically?
Outdoor Adventure Camp, yeah, there's 4 one-week sessions of it, so I imagine that's where it would probably fit in the most, is with that group. Rather than having an ultimate frisbee camp, I think you can just make that one of the activities out there. So yeah, if we could get them for, an hour, 90 minutes, maybe 2 or 3 days that week, I think that would be really good.
That is absolutely manageable, and that's something that our board, elected board, just discussed a few days ago. Is that we want to, as part of increasing our involvement in the community, do this, and it would be, frankly, a lot easier to piggyback onto an existing program than to start our own.
And so that's a summer camp. Is there any room for possibly doing a youth division kind of around the same theme of like the soccer that we do with soccer?
A youth division of Ultimate?
That would
be run through FDA?
Well, they would help manage and possibly help with that, but run it through the city. Would that be? We
did run a youth league last year, and I wasn't involved in it, but I know it was targeted at the same demographic. But you're talking about something that would be more than just kind of a weekly.
So the youth league, what age group was it?
I think it was under 16.
Under 16.
It seems like that probably would be the best structure, is to keep it under FDA, and maybe us just try to reach out to some of our youth participants and just promote the idea. Because I think there's an interest in owning it and doing it in camp, and I think that builds.
So that kind of stays in the high school level, and where they're seeing a lot of activity currently is in the younger.
Yeah.
Younger
10
like
to 14.
6.
Oh,
that 6, right? Is that correct?
We had some We had some 10-year-olds out there yesterday in 18-degree weather learning how to play out on those fields. Yeah, a family came out. We had, I was just telling Alan earlier, we opened it up for all the people who are interested in playing league, which starts next Sunday, and we were just out there. This is how you throw it, and then we set up some cones and said, okay, you run up this way, and this person will throw it to you, and that's part of the play. You're running, you're catching, and then you stop and throw it to the next person who's running, and you're trying to, complete it, catch in the end zone. And so we were just giving them the bare fundamentals of the sport, and then we played a little scrimmage and had some hot chocolate, and it was great.
So,
And Chuck, you mentioned that you provide money for the university, but y'all also provide money for the high school.
Yes, we do. And
And the high school has a men's and women's team.
they do. It's called, the teams are I think called Dark Side and Sunny Side. I think so.
I know the original name was Sunnyside. I'm not sure if they stuck with the same name. There was a reemergence from the women's side, and I don't know if they kept.
They might have switched, and we're reaching out to, the programs are emerging. It's crazy. Is Holt, is that a middle school? They've got a program going now, and some of our members are involved in working with these kids, and that's some of who came out yesterday. I said, "What? I didn't even touch a Frisbee till I was an adult."
And I believe last year there was Holt High School had a team, Rogers had a team, and Fayetteville High had a team, and they played, I guess it was a regional.
Haas had a team.
Haas.
Haas had a team as well.
For the
Yeah.
state representative or whatever. So it's been growing quite a bit in the community.
And they'll compete against other. I know that Jenks High School in Tulsa is kind of some of the main competition for our, like Fayetteville High School is a pretty elite program.
So you guys are just ultimate, or do you do the Frisbee, the golf too?
We voted to incorporate the disc golf.
I've been talking with the disc golf. They've, and I just recently talked with one of their members a couple of weeks ago. But basically what we proposed to them, when we wrote our bylaws, it wasn't geared specifically or limited to ultimate. It was disc sports.
Okay.
As the way we wrote it. So we offered to include them in our 401k, and they debated it for a little while, and we were going to have it all separated. And I think they're going to eventually get their own 401k. 401c, sorry.
501c. 501c3.
We're all retired together.
We all want part of your 401k.
Sorry. The nonprofit status.
We want in on that.
Yeah,
They
really.
might
That's
need a
okay.
financial advisor for that.
But the nonprofit status of our club, we tried to include them, and I think they're going to get their own nonprofit status. So
They probably should.
Yeah, they wanted to stay separate. We were just trying to help them along and include them if they wanted to. But as we've extended, and they haven't really accepted, so at nobody's fault. I mean,
We've got a relationship with that organization too, so they've come out and run a little bit of a clinic, and they've donated some time and discs and things. So I think both relationships are healthy to maintain, especially with the new course being built by their group.
That's right. They said they were almost done with it. They just had a couple of holes left.
Getting pretty close.
Yeah.
Mr. Maxwell, did we discuss your? Okay, so
About the only thing, I don't know if everybody understands what ultimate is, and I mean, if you haven't seen it or
Frisbee on steroids.
yeah, it's Frisbee on steroids.
Great.
But it's played virtually like a football field. You got 2 end zones, and then it's played after that like soccer and basketball. It exchanges. If you drop the Frisbee, then it turns over to the next player, and it continues to play until someone scores. So the greatest thing that I've ever seen that I really appreciated about the sport in general was what's called the spirit of the game. And so the spirit of the game is there are no refs, you're your own personal ref. And so it teaches a lot of integrity that most other sports don't actually do. And that's, I think, one of the greatest attributes that Ultimate brings to our community is the integrity that it does teach over most other sports who utilize that gray area to manipulate the way the game's played. And that, when Ultimate is taught correctly, is, I think, a great attribute for the community and for the kids. And that's why I really would like to see it spirited into
I
some.
think it's a fabulous idea because that's the age group where they're kind of more impressionable in terms of sports. So that 8 to
And-
12 age group, and a lot of times we offer 8 activities at Outdoor Adventure Camp, and that 8th one is sometimes tricky. We've done sand volleyball before, and it's
Yeah.
it's been sort of a waste of time, to be honest. I think Ultimate would be, I think it's a perfect
Yeah.
idea. We've never really had an expert, so if we've got 2 or 3 people that want to come out that know the game, I think that's a perfect fit.
We can do a lot better than that, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
I think it's phenomenal. A lot of folks I know that are in ultimate leagues now. It's low contact as opposed to other sports that children can play growing up. And if you want to
Still
be
high
at,
athleticism.
absolutely, there's some freak athletes playing that game.
Yeah.
I get burned.
During the club and college seasons, you'll see plays on Sports Center Top 10. The USAU just signed a contract with ESPN, a few months ago for coverage for years. They're going to be on ESPN3 for quite a while during the important times of the season. Yeah, it's quite a sport. Yeah, there's no contact.
Whatever gets kids off the Xbox, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Get them outside, play, run.
How many border collies do you have as their club members?
Several
We have
members
one.
with border collies.
That's true. It's got a dog-loving community.
Yeah.
Interesting
Every
overlap.
other dog you could imagine. All right, is there any other questions or comments?
No, thank you.
We
for sharing.
appreciate your hard work.
Thanks, Jeff.
Oh, thank you.
Keep it up.
All right, next up we got Allison with a park update, regional park update.
Park is out to bid. Bids are due January 23rd. So everybody, just keep your fingers crossed that the bids come in within budget. Other than that, there's not been a lot of action. We've had a lot of feedback from contractors, so that's good. That means a lot of people are looking at it. Consultants are fielding questions. That's kind of where it is. ADEQ and the landfill, we're supposed to meet tomorrow to have a substantial completion on the first phase, but the weather was kind of cruddy, so they postponed until next Monday. So I'll attend that meeting and see what the kind of final touches are on that for phase 1 and what they have in store for phase 2.
Okay, and the bids are pretty much based on that initial presentation that's been floating around with
Yes.
6 soccer fields, great lawn,
Yep, that's right.
fields, everything. Okay.
Mhm.
Up to 3 or 4 baseball fields.
Okay.
We had the room full for bidders, so that was good. So we
Very
feel
good.
like we're going to get some good cost, competitive cost.
Good. Is it all bid under one contractor, or is it separated? Are they?
They can subcontract.
So they'll.
It's one contract with the general that they can sub.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they'll have all that figured out, and that's what we're looking for.
Right.
Okay. I saw some information. I saw a bunch of different stuff, and I didn't know if it was how that was functioning.
Yeah, we'll issue a contract with one.
Right.
Okay, moving right along. We need to set up a orientation date for everybody. So did everybody bring their calendars?
So we can do it anytime. We can do it anytime during the morning, day, night.
The only restrictions that I have on the last 3 weeks of the month are Mondays and Wednesdays. I'm kind of tied up with work, but Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
I don't know if you all want to have a noon time or if you want to have it in the evening. I don't know.
I work for Walmart, so it'd be hard for me to get down to Fayetteville, except generally on Thursdays I work from home, so I will be in Fayetteville.
Okay. Thursday works.
I'm gone, and I can probably be excluded from this, I don't know, but maybe not. But I'm gone October 14th, or January 14th to the 24th. I have to go kayaking in Ecuador with my brother.
In
Oh,
Ecuador?
Punishment. Finally.
Yeah. Oh, wow. What an
So if it's
opportunity.
later in the week, or later last week of the month, I can do that, but
You said the 14th through the,
24th. But,
well, we can shoot for that last.
like I said, I've been involved with this for a long time, so
Would
We're
the
not
rest
letting you get out.
would the rest of you prefer to have it on no Monday and Wednesday?
Mhm.
Thursday could be good for him.
During the day, but I
During
can
the day,
do
or any-
Thursday or Friday evenings.
Okay,
I'm busy Tuesday evenings.
Thursdays would work best for me.
okay.
And I'm all
Gary?
over the map.
You're all over the map.
Let you
It just
choose.
depends
Good.
on what week.
So are we looking at the week of the 26th? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the 29th.
I've got an idea. February 2nd would be our next meeting.
We can do it then.
I mean, this, I don't want to presume too much, but I would imagine this meeting is pretty much coming to a close here in a few minutes. I would presume that February's probably wouldn't have too much to add to that. Would it be possible to sandwich those two? Quick, open?
It's Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
You know,
We-
Or is that still your Monday, Wednesday?
I usually have the first Mondays off. I can get those off for this meeting.
So,
Okay.
But how long does the orientation take?
An hour and a half, 2 hours max.
could we?
Depends on how many questions.
Start early, possibly?
Yeah, okay.
Well,
On which day?
on the February 2nd, Monday, February 2nd.
We have website training till 4.
Okay. So we could start right after 4.
4:30?
In this room?
We could either meet here, we'll get the room. We might have it at the library.
Library.
Big jaw, so
There's a Board of Adjustment meeting in this room too, ahead of us.
we'll have to find somewhere to meet. We'll find somewhere to meet.
4:30 or 5, something that, so we're not here till 8.
So 4:30,
Is that reasonable?
On the 2nd?
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
4:30?
You just hold the
Okay.
meeting in another room?
Well,
Library?
we could have it at the library. I think that's where
Does
we
that
had it
not
last
affect-
time.
The recording?
The recording, yeah, it does, but
It's okay. Okay.
Nothing groundbreaking.
4:30.
We still have to have it recorded.
I can check.
Yeah, got it.
We might have to go upstairs.
More information for the public.
So
Hold this meeting.
Not the orientation.
we'll let you know where.
Okay.
Have your people call our people.
All right.
That sounds good. Announcements for January. Late soccer registration begins January 5th. January 10th is the charity Ice Bowl Disc Golf Tournament. January 12th is winter adult volleyball season begins. January 18th, spring soccer registration closes. January 20th, spring youth soccer registration ends. And January 23rd, bids for the regional park Phase 1 construction are due. That is that. Take a motion.
Motion.
Motion to adjourn.
A second.
All right, that's it.